Greetings and salutations to all you folks out there. I've got a game for you today which has been sent to me by no less than 3 people. I don't think I've ever had a replay before that was sent to me by 3. One that was sent to me by 2, but seriously, people are watching this and saying it's fantastic, so I am going to give it a shot. There are a bunch of well-known faces in here. I'm actually going to keep the game slowed down for the introductions because, there are some name changes in here that we got to keep track of. So let's go ahead and get started, introduce the teams, and we will dive directly into the action. We've got on the north side, DD, who is actually Balance Cancer Lore, otherwise known as the infamous Ithalus Quo. So I'm going to call him Ithalus. Maybe his ACU will stay easy things to keep track of. I don't know. We have Exotic Retards taking Cybran, and then we have Speed 2 in the air slot taking Seraphim, Taquito as Cybran, and Zoc. He is UEF. So a lot of well-known faces on the Northside team. This game is between 1400 and 2200 ranking. And it looks like a heavy imbalance towards the North team. On the south side, we have Clinch taking UEF. I hit my face on the keyboard taking Seraphim. We've got Suona Daphnuin. That is Apophenus, and I'm going to call him Apophenus. Then we have K240 and Ape, who I'm just going to call Ape because he has undergone so many numerous name changes that was repetitively redundant that I don't know what to call him other than that. So we're going to call him Ape. And you, I shall dub Nagy. I think that's what we're going to call you. Okay, that's the teams. Let's go ahead and get started here. Looks like we've got pretty typical builds for just about everybody. Ithalus is going to go for the double adjacency on that land factory, and he did go drone first. Not entirely sure why, seeing as there's not a concentrated amount of reclaim anywhere, unless he's planning on expanding with that drone, maybe building a super forward land factory with it, where his ACU is going to take way more time to run. Let's see, we have land first for Taquito, double adjacency land for Zoc. And then we have Speed 2, he has gone land, probably going to drop an air factory immediately after the Hydro. And Exotic Retard, looks like he's going for early upgrades. He's got a buttload of P-Gens right after that Hydro power plant. Alright, Canis can turn into a kind of turtley map depending on what players are doing what. So we're just going to have to hope that these guys go hyper-aggressive stance, but that remains to be seen. On the south side, land factory first for everyone except K240, who has gone air first. And he is going to crank out some engineers with that. It's got the Hydro up, which is nice to see, but that is a tremendous energy hit to take. When you're building the air factory first, then only Hydro with no other units. So no early air for him, not till he gets some P-Gens up. Okay, looks like pretty standard expansion going down, and that is the mother of all manual reclaims. Holy crap, who is that? That would be Taquito, maybe? Yes, that is Taquito, I think. We'll see who gets up there and does it. If he took the time to do all of that manual reclaim, it was probably during the pause that happened just a second ago. That is kind of more than a little ridiculous. Looks like Apophenus is going to run up to the front, and he is leaving a trail of T1 artilleries behind his ACU following in his path. Of course, there is water in the middle of Canis, but handy-dandy hover T1 units are amazing at handling that kind of thing. Lots of land factories planned for you, so you are probably going to go for an early kill. Looks like he's going to engage with Zoc directly right at the forward Hydro. I hear units. Yep, there it is. A Salem plinking away at a T1 engineer. Impressive amount of damage on those little boogers, but an attempted reclaim is going to happen, and that scout is going to get away. Nice catch on the micro there. ACUs have engaged. Zoc is running back a little bit. Looks like Apophenus is going to have to focus on the tanks. There's not really anything here to deny that ACU, unfortunately. Zoc is just going to back up. Taquito and Aleg. That was Aleg. Face Keyboard was the one who put all of the manual reclaim orders down. That is a disturbing... Nope. Yep, it is. Getting all of the mass that he can from that front. Whatever happened to the drone? There's the drone. Winging out and grabbing those mass extractors. Then he's over here for a point defense behind the ACUs at the front. So now we've got green and red. Yes. And about to be brown. I'm just looking at colors for right now, folks. So we've got 3 ACUs from each team right here at the front. That is asking for a disaster of epic proportions. But this is looking almost like a Gap of Rohan game. Like, this is what you typically expect to see from that style of map. Or Battle of Thermopylae, where everyone just kind of packs into the middle. You've got 10 square kilometers of map to engage in, and we now have 8 out of 10 ACUs, 9 out of 10 ACUs right here in the middle. What is this madness? Everybody kind of trading out, soaking up a little bit of the damage here and there. That drone did not get his point defense down, unfortunately. He is trying for it again, though. Immediately stopped by the ACU. Speed getting a little low on health there, aren't you, bud? You might want to think about backing up and letting your teammates have this one. Apophis jumping out of the water and into the fray, and Ape heading in as well. K240 looking a little worse for wear. Speed is going to back up finally. I really don't want to see a double nuke or a quadruple nuke or any kind of nuke this early in the game. 5 minutes and 20 seconds is a bad time to lose commanders. Oh, wall sections going down for Taquito. He wants these guys to stay in. So many commanders. Don't you have any? Nope. Simon is going up. All right. That's 1. I want to slow down and see. That's 2. 3. That was a Control K ACU. Ape said okay. All right. Let's speed back up here and see the damage. Oh, crap. We are in the menu here. See the damage. Taquito's down. That's 5. And 6 with Ape with the Control K. Good Lord. Why? Why would you do this thing? Alig escaping with 1,000 health and Zoc coming away relatively unscathed. So we just took a 5 versus 5 game and in 6 minutes, reduced it to a 2 versus 2. Sounds like an awesome investment of your team game launch. K240's out. Both air players are gone. We're left with actually exactly symmetrical slots. What is this madness? He's got the left side pair and the right side pair. So even the economy is symmetrical. The establishment is symmetrical. Exotic retard. Well, that was reclaimed. Never mind. I can't wait until this gets changed. They even have almost the same mass per tick between all of them. Let's see what Zoc is doing here. He is at 50 actually, and overflowing mass. Why you do this thing? You need to get a lot of T2 mass extractors started because you have a ton of mass. Okay, well, Zoc is going to have to back the hell up now because he's got 2-point defense on his commander. At this point, you cannot afford to take another ACU loss. I'm going to bump up to 2 speed because this is probably going to be a long, drawn-out process of redevelopment. We do have some tanks back here in the base disrupting the build power. Absolutely the best thing that you could possibly do at this stage, because anything you can do to delay the progress of the other team is going to exponentially increase your lead over them, which is exactly what you want to have happening. Zoc sitting on 94 and Clinch on 95 per tick. And then, let's see, Exotic Retard sitting a little bit below that, as well as Nagy. Okay, well now I don't have to keep track of all those names. I hate listing off ACU colors, but when things are happening very quickly, sometimes I don't have time to look at the names when I'm not familiar with them. But now I just have to remember 4. So we're good. My poor little overtaxed memory can handle this. We do, yes, there's a T2. Okay, so we do have T2. Absolutely want to get tac defense up at some point. Looks like Exotic Retard is still pumping out the T1 at an astonishing pace, and he is trying to get some Mantis in around the outside edges. Thankfully, Nagy does have a few units to defend himself with, and we have another run by in the works for Clinch. He is going to loop around the backside here, hopefully take out a couple of mass extractors anyway. Looks like Zoc is going to get some T2 tanks out. Small engagement there, but nothing Zoc can do to avoid the loss of those units because, holy mother of T1 factories, there are a lot of production there is a lot of production over on the left for Clinch. But Clinch is the one that secured most of the mass points, so he can definitely handle the spam as far as economy goes. Does have some support T2 factories as well, so he will be able to keep up with the tech as far as his opponent Zoc is concerned. Looks like blue is scattering for some mass points. We have relatively even mass distribution on the south side, so we're going to end up with 2 strong players, whereas on the north side, Zoc took everything. Looks like Exotic Retard pinging his mass extractor. Please help me, please help me. I am running low on mass and I'm trying to get a T3 mass extractor upgrade. No, actually you are power stalling, good sir. That would be your problem, but I suppose I can't really say anything about that because power stalling is one of my favorite pastimes, even though we should all try to break that terrible habit. T2 tanks versus T1 tanks, yeah, I don't think there's going to be any chance of survival there for the poor little strikers on Clinch's side. I'm going to re-secure this, it's not a peninsula, this section of land. I can't even really call this a river because it is divided by walkways, so whatever you want to call that. We do have a couple of gunships building up here. Quite a bit of assistance there, actually, and 3 air factories building interceptors to cover, because what are gunships without a little protection? Well, other than meat shields to allow you to win air control with inferior numbers, because that is also a thing. T3 P-Gen down. That is T3 factory for Nagy. He is going to be pumping out Authams, which on Canis are going to do reasonably well because, hey, it's flatter than a lot of maps. It's not completely flat, but it is flatter than a lot of them. Also, amphibious unit that can cross, so he will be able to get into some interesting places without having to use the land bridges. Nice job getting T3 up on that. He's got 71 mass tick income, which is not the best, but he doesn't have a whole lot of production, so he's going to put all of it into those T3 tanks until we do see the pause there, so he focuses on something else. Autham is going to be able to mop up huge amounts of T1 units, picking up a veterancy there with 15 kills, just wiping the floor with all those T1 on that side. Mass Extractor down to these strikers, but that Autham is going to intercept. If he kites with the long cannon, you can see he's doing a fair amount of damage to those tanks. Of course, if you close to range, they will do more damage. A little over double, if I'm not totally mistaken. There's a little more damage on the close range weaponry than there is on the long range. T2 tanks coming down for Exotic Retard. And air is kind of facing off. Nope, those are the same team. Sorry, my bad. T2 tanks are not in a good position to do anything much, really. I gotta admire Zoc's effort in trying to kill off a few things. He did get a mass extractor there and a mass extractor there, but he is just vastly outnumbered. Kudos to Clinch for including mobile flak. He is going to be able to fend off those gunships rather easily. Only 4 T2 gunships, not too great a chances versus a flak. I think it could probably go after the flak and kill it, but you would lose 1 or 2 gunships in the process. Zoc just pumping out T2 gunships left and right. He's got about a dozen on the field at the moment, and they are carrying units. Nice. Have to see what those land with. Are those fire beetles? They might be fire beetles. It sure looks like it. I see fire beetles building up here for Exotic Retard. So he is definitely planning some shenanigans. This is a beautiful use of the Stinger transport mechanism. 4 fire beetles down, and the gunships carry on to other targets. It's like TAC missiles hitting your T2 mass extractors. Oh, that's painful to watch. Goodness, that is awesome. Zoc pulling the fire beetle shenanigans there. And that's another one going after the mobile flak. Gonna detonate between them. 2 for 1 deal. Well done. Well done. Autham moving up the outside edge. That is going to be stopped by the T1 point defense. I think it could kill that point defense, but it's not the best weapon against it because of the low stance to the ground. The walls are actually going to do a little to protect it. Huge, massive interceptor force for the combined might of Exotic Retard and Zoc. As of yet, there's nothing that can stop that, but there is a T3 air factory down. So once a few ASF get online, they will be able to clean up that mess, and it won't be such a tremendous advantage for this team. We got a couple of more fire beetles loading up here. Looks like we are planning a little bit more drops. Maybe not too terribly much. It doesn't look like there's any actual transports. Yes, there are. I'm looking at them right here. 2 T2 transports coming online. So they will be able to drop many, many units at once, possibly some of these Percivals. Just have to wait and see. Looks like Exotic Retard is setting up camp over on the right. That's going to diversify the holdings a little bit. He is still lagging behind on income, obviously, due to a severe deficit in mass extractors. But he does have a fairly well-established base over on this side, and Zoc is maintaining his residence in the central location. Should there come a nuke later, that will actually help them out, because if they don't get nuke defense up, they won't be able to knock out the entire infrastructure with one nuke. Like, one nuke in the middle of Canis is nasty to deal with. You can take out 3 bases, basically. T2 gunships fending off that oncoming horde of T1 and T2. Percival's mopping up the rest, and the base is safe once again. We've got tack launchers going down here, which is not going to work out, I don't think, because here comes an Autumn, so that's going to be able to clean that up very, very easily. Bye-bye engineer, and tack launchers will go down. Come on. What is this? You're going to run right by 5 tack launchers. There you go. Teammate telling him to back up and reevaluate his targeting priorities. 2 fire beetles. Nice. And then there were fire beetles. This is starting to become a theme in this game. Fantastic teamwork between these guys. Exotic Retard just pumping out fire beetles from this factory. He's been building them for quite some time. Then he gives them to Zoc to distribute as he pleases. It's almost like a welfare state. If I have fire beetles, they're your fire beetles, comrade. Send them where you will. Percival's moving down the back side. There is a single Ravager, which is immediately going to go down as soon as I notice it. Percival's moving in on that position. Obviously, Percival's going to do very, very well versus T2. One of them is going to go down, and ooh, there's another Ravager over there. So Clinch does have a shield commander. That is shield resource allocation T3, which is one of the more interesting commander combinations. It's the only commander that can get body protection with resource allocation with the T3 build suite. So it's like a self-contained entity of war. Even if you lose every single other mass extractor, you're going to have plus 15 mass, plus 3k power, which is more than enough to run the shield on your commander. And then you got the T3 build suite for that added HP and the ability to throw down T1 point defense at a maddening pace. So, yeah, very, very strong ACU if you end up drawing the short end of the stick later in the game. That tends to happen sometimes, like on Setton's Beach slot, or if you're in the lower slot on Tabula Rasa, that kind of thing. So if you lose your entire base, that's about the best case scenario, because you can throw down some mass fabs or something and get back on your feet. The Percivals are making really good headway down here. There is an answering Air Force from Orange in the form of a multitude of interceptors and a handful of ASF, but they are not going to engage at the moment. T2 gunships are going to try to mop up this mess, but we may see a loss of a T3 HQ here. That would be a primary target, that and the power generator. If Zoc can drop both of those, that will be a tremendous blow to Nagy's production capabilities. There goes the T3. Yep, that is success. And the Percivals are going to go down. I think with very careful micro and an optimal engagement angle, Zoc could come out ahead on this, but it's very difficult to use interceptors versus ASF. You basically just have to like throw them in the general direction of the ASF and hope that they collide, because interceptors are so much slower with such a terrifyingly bad turning speed that actually colliding with ASF is more a matter of luck than anything, or luring the ASF into you. That could also work. There's a couple of T3 mobile artillery down to complement the Percivals that are out front. That was in no doubt an answer to the T3 point defense from Clinch. Clinch is backing up now. Got one T3 point defense there to cover himself. Probably want to get a SAM. Yep, there's the SAM as well. Have at least 3 flak with ACU. Not a bad idea. Ooh, here comes an Awasa. That is nasty surprise for the Northern team. Bombs away, but there is a T3 shield there. Unfortunately, not headed for that. It's going to take out the 2 factories and a whole lot of units there on the front. ASF engaging that, and they are going to be able to drop it with the help of a couple of SAMs, so fantastic there. But that was a large portion of the Air Force lost for Zoc. Here comes the engagement, stopping the interceptors and trying to get what he can out of that. But a little bit of micro from Nagy, and he's going to be able to mop that up. No more interceptor force in just a moment, folks. We do, however, have a brick intrusion on the south side. There's some broadswords coming up, and our first ground T4, I think, unless there's a fat boy hiding somewhere. That would be the first chicken. He's going to be able to take out those bricks very, very easily. And move on to this side. Some losses in the base, not anything too terribly bad, but still not exactly what you want to have happening. Bricks in your base are never a good thing. Although I can probably say the exact same thing about Clinch versus Zoc, because he has 3 Percivals up in the back, which are about to cross over the river and get into the backside of the base here. And I don't think, are there more T2 gunships? Zoc really doesn't have an answer for that. There are Fire Beetles, though. Maybe he'll be able to use Fire Beetles. All loaded up on that T2 transport and ready to go. The Percivals have been pinged, so he knows that they're there. Let's see what his answer is. Yep, Fire Beetles. Fire Beetle drops, ahoy! There's the drop. Percival's aiming. You are not going to be able to hit that many. Oh, and wasted! The incredible running speed and turning rate on the Fire Beetle, allowing it to dodge several Percival shots. That is amazing. Nagy commenting, OMG, I don't have T3 Eco. Yes, you do. There's a T3 Mex right there. Although he is trying to build a chicken on, let's see, 60 mass income. So yeah, I would actually say that he is correct. He doesn't have a T3 Eco. He literally has a T3 Eco piece, but he doesn't have T3 Eco. You know what I mean. Supcom things. There is a Fat Boy in production for Clinch. Is being built by one lonely drone. So yeah, probably going to take a while to finish on that one. And there's a Monkey Lord. So we do have an answering T4 from the north side, even though it is the most measly of T4s. If it can dodge and weave and get into range of that Ythotha, dubious plan. Well, that is an apt name for a Monkey Lord. It is, however, going to get scouted and going to take a lot of damage as it's dodging and weaving. Down to half health before it even gets in range, and then there were Fire Beetles! Unfortunately, I don't think they actually connected. But there are bricks coming in at the back. That was beautiful. I give you points for the attempt, Zoc. It was a failed Fire Beetle, but I give you points for the attempt. Trebuchets going down. Those are not trebuchets. Those are demolishers. Bad break. See, I want Cybern so bad that I'm even calling UEF by the Cybern names. Those are going to go down to broadswords, which are then going to go down to ASF. The Ythotha is going to chase back this T3 and then proceed onward towards the base. We do have Ythotha in the water hitting the south side as well. Got some undefended, well, relatively undefended T3 point defense here. Ravagers in the back, but I think the Ythotha can actually hit that before the Ravagers can fire on it. We'll have to see. The range is pretty dang close. He's going to start zigzagging before he even gets in, trying to dodge as much Ravager fire as he can. Make sure there's nothing else going on the map before I get tunnel vision here. So he's going to change his mind about that one. Back the hell up. 43,000 health, getting below half health there. Another Fire Beetle drop. And success on the air impact. It's going to knock it down to 12,000 health. Easy enough for T2 gunships to finish that off. Well, 24 with the veterancy. But still, I think that's going to go down. And, oh, Nice! There's a reclaim order from Exotic Retard, which is going to mean that that is not going to light up with the Energy Storm. Still lost a couple of T3 power generators there, but it was not nearly as bad as it would have been if that thing had gone up in flames. There is no engineering unit close to this, though, so that is going to get the Ion Storm planted. Some Percivals on this side. Zoc is actually not in good shape here. That's enough Percivals to KO that ACU in just a couple of firing cycles. But T2 gunships for the win. Absolutely going to wreck that group of Percivals. That's the kind of firepower you need to deal with T3 units in your base. Zoc just going to run away. Run away. Don't look back. Going to escape with full health on his commander. Broadswords coming in, but they are going to collide with the Sam fire here. Get knocked out pretty dang easily. Not sure what he was even thinking sending those in. Gunships joining the fight. And gonna mop those up nicely. Okay. Let's get established back on the map here. On the south side, let's take a look at Reclaim, actually. We haven't done that yet. Zoc sitting on 40,000. Nagy on 78 and overflowing mass. Nice there. 53 for Clinch and Exotic Retard with 40. So Alec, while he has the lowest income, he has the highest amount of reclaim by a pretty wide margin. So that's what's keeping him relevant in this game as we move forward. Clinch did finish off that Fat Boy, which is immediately going to start shredding those T3 factories. Hey, any reduction in build power is a good thing. There is a Megalith going down. Special delivery. I like this naming mod. What's this one? Mail. Well, that's boring. I retract my earlier statement. Fat Boy is just kind of chilling out here, nailing a T1 Mex. Probably going to move on to the brighter pastures of a radar in just a minute. Nope, Sam. It's going to kill the Sam. Let's see what we've got eco-wise here. Zoc pulling in a massive power stall, but totaling out to 165 mass per tick income. I am keeping an eye on this Euthatha moving in. We've got 259 for Clinch. Nagy riding on about 200, and then Exotic Retard on 237. So the South team, they have map control, and they are riding on a superior economy. Well, I don't know. Map control is actually about 50-50 down this line, but Zoc has taken some pretty heavy losses in his base. That is nothing to sneeze at. Sorry guys, gotta dive into my glass of water there. I don't know why, but my throat has been torn up something fierce recently. There is yet another chicken coming online. That is 2 on the map. No plans for a third. There's the strategic missile launcher that I knew would be coming eventually. It's only a matter of time, after all, in a game like this before you get a nuke. That boy's still working on that shield. And we still have some fire beetles available. Not quite as many as before, but maybe you can come up with something to do with those. And of course, the Monkey Lord, accompanied by all of his glorious brick army, is on the south side here. That is actually enough to take out this Euthatha. So, nice there. Apophenus. Retard is Cyber, and don't forget, I imagine he is reminding about telemaser capabilities. Maser alert. Yep. Definitely something that you need to keep in mind when you are versus a Cybern player late game, especially in a team game setting where they can be just like, oh, screw it. I'm just going to telemaser in hopes of doing some damage. Attack launchers. Oh, that's not pretty. But they have been noticed. Those T2 gunships are going to remove that threat quite efficiently. Nice there. That is where all the mass extractors went on this side. T3 engineers rebuilding them as quickly as they can, but yeah, that's a lot of damage. Not what you want to have happening when you're already at an eco disadvantage. Fat Boy's still trying to puncture this base. It is making progress. Slowly but surely, it is making progress. T2 gunship's going to go down to just a handful of ASF. That is sad to see when you have plenty of air cover and it is not effective. And there's the Megalith ready. Special delivery is on its way. The Athotha is down, and we now have Bricks and a Monkey Lord headed into the base. This is less than optimal, to be sure. I have to see what they do to solve that problem. There is a Athotha coming online with a whole lot of engineers building it, so if he can get that up and firing on that Monkey Lord ASAP, he may have a chance, but that nuke is going to go down. It was a valiant effort, friend. It is a valiant effort. Clinch, spam PD. There's a second Athotha coming back southward. I think that will save at least part of this base. There goes the Monkey Lord, mass delivery. And now the Bricks. Good deal, good deal. Athothas actually do fairly well versus clumps of units because they have these high AoE attacks. Very, very nice to use when you encounter T3 spam on a regular basis. I was about to say since the changes, but the changes have been in place literally for years now with NG mod. So yeah, compared to the vanilla of Supreme Commander, you see way more T3 units, which is actually kind of nice because it makes for epic battles. Okay, T2 gunships versus Percivals once again. Obviously, Percivals are beefy enough that they are going to get a lot of damage in before they all die. You can see a T3 power generator going down right there. They're going to continue their march into the base. Basically, retribution for what just happened down here. Strat bombers in for a T2 engineer. What? Well, it was a T3 engineer, but still. Why would you not... What? What is this madness? All the strat bombers are going to die, and basically they have done nothing. Fantastic! Awesome! Well done. Well done. T2 gunship's finally going to finish off those Percivals. Apofina saying, dance! Dance like you've never danced before! Oh wow, he actually did say that. Dance like you never did. Well, there are more strat bombers coming in, so I suppose that still applies. Alec pulling the dodge, and nope. Okay, he got one hit and dodged two of them, so actually not that bad. 8,000 health. Or did he? Maybe I was misreading the health on that one. I think he did dodge one. I think the health bar stayed the same for one of them. But anyway, he is headed back into the base. UEF bombers have a very large AoE, which makes them pretty dang hard to dodge. So don't feel bad if you can't dodge UEF strats. Cybrins, in my opinion, they're pretty much impossible to dodge. Apparently, some people have corrected me in the past on that you can dodge Cybrin, but you'd have to really be on point with your timing to dodge that because, yeah, that's a wide area of effect. Like 7, I think? 7 area of effect, something like that. Two chickens moving up the mid with a fat boy for fire support. Things are looking very, very dicey for the North team. It's a valiant effort with the strat bombers. Poor targeting considerations, but a valiant effort nonetheless. And they are now looking like they're on the downhill slide because we have a ginormo gargantuan amount of SAMs and flak out here, which is going to deny any of those gunships that Zoc has been trying to use to his advantage. But what is this? We have a megalith. Really? You didn't scout on that side. You've got to be kidding me. There is nothing on radar for that. You have spotted the fire beetles. Good job. So yeah, surprise megalith, which never should have been a surprise because you should have scouted. Fire beetles are going to run southward, and they are going to die gloriously because, Fat Boy. Yeah, or maybe not. Did one of them get through? At least one. Come on. We need one detonation. It is behind. Yes! There are 5 of them. Some of them on 50 health. They got behind the Athotha. We now have counterfire from one to cover the other. Got 1 down, 2 down, and yes, 1 detonated. Okay, good. We got 1 that hit the Athotha, so I can be happy now. The special delivery has reached its destination. You got pings down on the ACU over there. There is a Athotha up. or almost up, which will be able to answer that at least in some capacity. But Megaliths in general, very, very difficult to deal with. If he can kill that chicken, he's got to back and fire though. Yeah, there you go. Because if the lightning storm gets in range, a chicken can actually kill a Ythotha if all of that damage connects. Ythotha's raking through Zock's base. Strats down for Allig. Nagy is gone. Out of here. That means both of those experimentals will go down. Nice. And this one, which is pointless because it was on 600 health. There it goes. And the Megalith is now going to take all of the force from that lightning storm. Actually, it does look like force lightning, if you ask me. The Emperor is among us. He is in the wreckage of the Ythotha. Nagy throwing out the GG. I also like this. Trebuchets under stealth, ravaging the Ravagers. I wasn't even going for that pun until after I started it. I am now ashamed of myself. And the Stingers are going to be able to take out that fat boy. Okay, so it's 2 versus 1, but Zock really doesn't have a base anymore. So the deciding factor here is this. Because this Megalith, if that Megalith was not there, by the way, that desync does not affect the outcome of the game. It was a single instance desync with someone who left the game, so worry not. The main problem. So this naming mod is getting more accurate as it goes. The main problem is definitely the Megalith down in this base. If this were not a thing, if those Ythothas had survived, if that ACU had survived, this actually would have gone on to great length still, I think, because if that Megalith had been denied, then that would have been 2 more chickens for the north side to deal with. Zock did transport over into this base, so he is safe, at least for the moment. I think that is actually going to be GG. Good lord, that was a mighty swing in favor of the North team because they were getting decidedly overrun on that. And I also have to say huge kudos to Zock for his Fire Beetle usage and Exotic Retard for building Zock all of the Fire Beetles. I don't even want to count the separate instances. There was all the mechs down here. There was a couple of T4 snipes. There was some T3 snipes, some flat cleanup. Pretty much as much abuse as you can possibly get out of Fire Beetles. Zock did it this game. And it looks like Clinch is just going to walk his ACU up on land towards the north side. Maybe he's going for a base swap. Who knows? Would actually work out pretty well. We do have T3 engineers being dropped by the Megalith. Don't forget that this guy is actually a factory still. Sometimes it's hard to remember that. Clinch taking a bunch of fire on that one. And T3 is now in the base, although there is actually more flak than there is combat in that mix. I think your mix is just a little bit AA heavy there, bud. Clinch not going to do too well. And the bouncers are actually using their guns versus ground because they do have the fire toggle. And that's going to be the end of Clinch, I think, right there. Counting down the seconds. Unfortunately, not a match for Percival's, but there it is. And Brick Torpedo is going to finish it off. He's still got 2,800 health. What do we got? Ground fire the Megalith. That's what you need to do. There it is. Head poked above water, and that is GG. Well, that's actually a good game. Fantastic fire beetling. I know now why people were sending that in. Had a 6 ACU massive detonation at the beginning, and then fire beetles everywhere. So hopefully that was a really enjoyable game for you guys. I know that got me intrigued watching it. It's one of those more unusual games. Maybe not the absolute most eventful ones, but really cool stuff going on. As always, guys, thank you so much for watching. Do not forget to send me some replays to that email down in the description, and I will see you guys in the next one.